Hello, everybody. It's Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org. Welcome to my book, my V-book, Live to 150 in chapter 26, entitled Fat. Fat, okay? I'm not calling anybody that. It's about fat. Fat is a component of basically every food. There are a few things that are fat-free, but almost all plants have fat in them, and some of them have a large amount of fat. If you're talking about nuts, seeds, and avocados, talking about durian, the fruit durian, heavy fat. And the bottom line is, what you need to know about fat is you need to, for the most part, avoid most of it. So like when I talk about nuts, seeds, and avocados and durian, those are things that you need to only eat in moderation. I'll have a chapter on that. But you really have to limit those. You have to actively work to limit those. Now, every other plant is great. Eat them all you want. But those, anything in that category, if you're eating whole or minimally processed plants, that's how you look at it. Now, if you're eating processed food or food-like products, things that are not found in nature, not food is grown, then you need to be super careful because they add oils in there, which is all fat, as we know. And what does fat do is the question. Well, of course, fat causes you to gain weight. And if you gain weight, you got all kinds of issues. You got potentially back problems, hip problems, knee problems, foot problems from supporting all that weight on your feet. That's unnatural. You want to get down to a BMI right in the normal range, 19, 20, 21, something like that. Get your weight down, measure your height, divide by your weight, figure out the BMI with a calculator online, and make that a goal. Okay, make that a goal. The only way you're going to do it, I'm telling you right now, is first of all, you got to eat plants full of fiber that keep that stuff flowing through you. And I'm talking about food as grown plants or minimally processed plants, not oil, which has no fiber in it. It's all fat. So you see the correlation here. So it's not just about weight for the fat. It's also that type 2 diabetes is a fat disease. It's caused from eating too high of a percentage of calories from fat. Now, you don't want to have to keep analyzing all the food and counting calories and points and all this other stuff like Weight Watchers has done forever. You don't have to worry about that. Just eat the right plants. I've talked about this in the book already. Mostly whole plants. You got to moderate on the nuts, seeds, and avocados and durian, but you can go ahead and just eat whatever else you want, as long as it's mostly whole plants and not perverted like oil, okay, or bleached type plants, or all the fibers taken out like juice. I mean, juice has a role, okay, but not in a regular, continual, ongoing diet, okay? It doesn't, because the fiber's gone. You need to have low percentage of calories from fat. You got to look at that. You got to make some calculations on your own. You want to keep that under 20% ideally. And why? Because it causes type 2 diabetes. If you get too much fat floating around in your veins and things in here, your blood system, your circulatory system, some stuff happens at a cellular level and it totally screws you up in there. Not only does it cause type 2 diabetes, but it also will likely bring on heart attack and stroke. And not only does it cause type 2 diabetes, but it probably causes type 3 diabetes, which is Alzheimer's and dementia, things like that. These things are all preventable. You just need to watch the fat. And I know some people are addicted to fat. Okay, I know my wife Denise is one of these people. Okay, and I was having to make a lot of the right choices when I was growing up, although I still love some full fat ice cream I used to eat. If you listen to my story a few chapters back, I used to eat that almost, actually I didn't say it in that chapter, but almost every dinner I would have a giant half gallon of ice cream. Crazy, full of fat, ridiculous. I was also working outside, manual labor 5 to 7 days a week. The average person doesn't do that. So it didn't hit me as bad, but it still hit me, still got me. The fat got me. My cholesterol levels got high. Actually, cholesterol levels, even if you're not eating animal products, eating too high of a percentage of calories from fat will raise your cholesterol level, even if you're not consuming animal products. I found that out when I went to the Green Fair Organic Cafe in Northern Virginia, Herndon, Virginia. Their program, the 21-day program, had the before and after blood work and found that out. I was eating Lara bars before I started that, thinking I was doing the right thing. It's only got like 4 or 5 ingredients. Unfortunately, they're almost all heavy nut based, way more than you would find in nature, okay? And for nuts and seeds, especially nuts, never, if you're ever going to eat them, please don't eat them cooked. Please don't eat them deshelled. You got to do all the work and don't eat them cooked. Eat them raw. Do all the work, okay? And if you're not eating them raw, make sure there's no, well, even if they're raw, no salt on those things, okay? You got to do it right. But I'm just telling you that all of these things are related to fat. almost all these things, right? The dementia, the Alzheimer's, the type 2 diabetes, the strokes, the heart attacks. And by the way, go to healthyveganfood.info, scroll down and watch the 2 videos from Dr. Esselstyn to explain the circulatory issues there from a cardiologist about strokes and heart attacks and how you can make yourself heart attack proof. He tells you in there, okay? He's got all the science. The other thing is just from a weight perspective, if you're the fat you eat is the fat you wear. You ever heard of that? Write that down in the comments if you believe that. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. That's true, okay? In the past, there was food shortages and you'd have to, I mean, it wouldn't matter. And humans were, I guess, cave people were walking around. They were doing exercise all the time, just like I was doing 5 to 7 days of outdoor work in the 90s with my landscape business, okay? But that takes a toll on people. Nobody wants to have to do that all the time. So you got to avoid these fats, okay? These fats are a major problem. These fats, as much as we keep saying that like 80% of the health issues are caused by people's habits, bad habits that can be reversed and changed and hopefully heal yourself in the process, so many of these issues also are simply from high fat foods and eating too many of them or eating any of them at all. If you could just avoid them, most of your health will be optimized just on that. And that's why I have a chapter here just on fat. So I'm not calling anybody names. However, fat is not your friend. That's what you need to realize. And it's not like you're not going to get any fat. I'm not advocating eating a diet devoid of fat. I'm not saying, eat foods that have no fat in them, because there are some, okay? There are, even plants. But as long as you're eating a good variety of plants, mostly whole plants, you're going to get the fats. You're going to get the fats in there. You're not going to have to, I've never even heard of anyone who has to add fat to their diet, although it can be a major problem if you're not getting any fat at all, and it could affect your brain, like shrink it. But we won't even talk about that. But again, talk to your doctor. Look at the disclaimer below. We're not giving medical advice. We're just telling you what to eat. And we are telling you that because the average Joe and Jane just eat way too high of a percentage of calories from fat, the average Joe and Jane have all these lifestyle issues that are caused by doing that. So if you have any more insight, please let it down below. Let me know. Give me your comments. Tell me your success stories. Hopefully you have some. If you're eating too much fat, like I said, my success story is out there. If you go in a few chapters before this one, read my health story. My cholesterol was high, and a lot of it was because of fat. And I'm telling you, the part 2 here is that it's not just animal products that raise your cholesterol level, okay? It's the fat. It's eating too high of a percentage of calories from fat that also will raise your cholesterol number to an unacceptable number, potentially anyway. And the minute you remove that, like I did, mine went from, I can't remember what it was, like 160, something like that, which I think is like heart attack proof. But I went down to like 118, okay? By getting rid of those Lara bars I was eating. Don't eat those. I don't recommend those. Those are not natural. And they're based in nuts, too high of a percentage of calories from fat. But do those calculations, by the way. If you get the takeaway from here is you get to start calculating. If you're eating things that are plants, that are not just nuts, seeds, and avocados, which you gotta reduce the consumption of those. If you're eating food-like products, you're eating packaged food with multiple ingredients, you have to do the calculations and make sure that it's one thing to have a cheat meal, like I talked about. That was one of the chapters before this, a cheat meal. But you can't do a habit out of that. Those things you just can't do. You cannot do. You're going to get, if you're not mindful in this fat category, you are going to get all the fat diseases. And again, I'm not calling anyone names here. And there shouldn't be a bad stigma here with the word fat, because fat causes so many of the seriously debilitating diseases that people have. It's a really bad thing. You're going to get what you need to keep your brain alive. I'm sure that you will. And if you're concerned, then go see somebody about that. I'm also available to talk about what you eat. I'm a lifestyle nutritionist, so contact me. But thank you so much. If you got some value out of this, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe, of course, hit the bell for notifications. Share this video on your social media timelines, wherever you think is appropriate. Any of the chapters, for that matter. Anything that was really impactful for you, Please, it would be awesome if you could share it and get the word out, because we're only doing this because we believe that this is the way the world is going to be going as we move forward, and everyone's going to benefit. We're excited. We can't wait for this to happen, but it's only going to happen as a grassroots effort with you all who are watching this, helping us to get the word out. So thank you for doing that. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.